Chapter 31. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Take vengeance for the children of Israel on the Midianites. After that you are to be gathered to your people. And Moshe spoke to the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves for the campaign, and let them go against the Midianites to take vengeance for Yahuwah and Midian. Send 1,000 from each tribe of all the tribes of Israel for the campaign. So there were supplied from the tribes of Israel 1,000 from each tribe, 12,000 armed ones for the campaign. Moshe sent them on the campaign, 1,000 from each tribe, from them and Pinchas son of Eleazar the priest on the campaign, with the set-apart utensils and the trumpets for sounding in his hand. And they fought against the Midianites as Yahuwah commanded Moshe, and killed all the males. And they killed the sovereigns of Midian and the rest of those who were pierced, Evi and Rechem and Sur and Ker and Reba, and 5 sovereigns of Midian. And they killed Bilam son of Beor with a sword. And the sons of Israel took all the women of Midian captive, with their little ones, and took as spoil all their livestock and all their possessions. And they burned with fire all the cities where they dwelt, and all their settlements. And they took all the spoil and all the booty, both of man and beast. And they brought the captives and the booty and the spoil to Moshe, and to Eleazar the priest, and to the congregation of the children of Israel, to the camp in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the congregation, went to meet them outside the camp. But Moshe was wroth with the officers of the army, with the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, who had come from the campaign. And Moshe said to them, Have you kept all the women alive? Look, they are the ones who caused the children of Israel, through the word of Bilam, to trespass against Yahuwah in the matter of Peor, and there is a plague among the congregation of Yahuwah. And now, kill every male among the little ones, and every woman who has known a man by lying with a man you shall kill. But keep alive for yourselves all the female children who have not known a man by lying with a man. And you, camp outside the camp 7 days. Whoever has killed any being, and whoever has touched any slain, cleanse yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. And cleanse every garment, and every object of leather, and all the work of goat's hair, and every object of wood. And Eleazar the priest said to the men of the campaign, who went to the battle, This is the law of the Torah which Yahuwah commanded Moshe. Only the gold and the silver, and the bronze, the iron, the tin, and the lead, every object that passes through fire, you put through the fire, and it shall be clean. Only let it be cleansed with the water for uncleanness, and whatever does not pass through the fire, you pass through water. And you shall wash your garments on the 7th day, and be clean, and afterwards come into the camp. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Count out the plunder that was taken of man and of beast, you and Eleazar the priest, and the heads of the fathers of the congregation. You shall divide the plunder into 2 parts, between those who took part in the battle, who went out on the campaign, and all the congregation. And set aside a levy for Yahuwah on the men of battle who went out to the campaign. 1 out of every 500 of man and of cattle, and of the donkeys and of the sheep. Take it from their half, and give it to Eleazar the priest as a contribution to Yahuwah. And from the children of Israel's half, you shall take 1 of every 50, of man, of the cattle, of the donkeys, and of the sheep, of all the livestock, and give them to the Levites guarding the duty of the dwelling place of Yahuwah. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest did as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And the booty remaining from the plunder, which the people of the campaign had taken, was 675,000 sheep, and 72,000 cattle, and 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 human beings in all, of women who had not known a man by lying with a man. And the half, the portion for those who went out on the campaign, was in number 337,500 sheep, and the levy unto Yahuwah of the sheep was 675. And the cattle were 36,000, of which the levy unto Yahuwah was 72. And the donkeys were 30,500, of which the levy unto Yahuwah was 61. And the human beings were 16,000, of which the levy unto Yahuwah was 32 beings. So Moshe gave the levy which was the contribution to Yahuwah to Eleazar the priest, as Yahuwah commanded Moshe. And from the children of Israel's half, which Moshe divided from the men who campaigned, another half belonging to the congregation was 337,500 sheep, and 36,000 cattle, and 38,500 donkeys, and 16,000 human beings. Then Moshe took from the children of Israel's half, one out of every 50 drawn from man and beast, and gave them to the Levites who guarded the duty of the dwelling place of Yahuwah, as Yahuwah had commanded Moshe. And the officers who were over thousands of the campaign, the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, came near to Moshe. They said to Moshe, "Your servants have taken account of the fighting men under our command, and not a man of us is missing. So we have brought an offering for Yahuwah, that what every man found of ornaments of gold, armlets and bracelets and signet rings and earrings and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before Yahuwah." And Moshe and Eleazar the priest received the gold from them, all the fashioned ornaments, and all the gold of the offering they presented to Yahuwah from the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds was 16,750 shekels. The men of the campaign had taken spoil, every man for himself. And Moshe and Eleazar the priest received the gold from the commanders of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of appointment, as a remembrance for the children of Israel before Yahuwah. Chapter 32. And the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had much livestock, a large number. And they saw the land of Yazer and the land of Gilead, and saw that the place was a place for livestock. So the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spoke to Moshe and to Eleazar the priest, and to the leaders of the congregation, saying, Ataroth and Dibon, and Yazer, and Nimrah, and Heshbon, and El-Ale, Sebam, and Nebo, and Baon. The land which Yahuwah had stricken before the congregation of Israel is a land for livestock, and your servants have livestock. And they said, If we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a possession, and do not let us pass over the Jordan. And Moshe said to the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, Are you brothers to go into battle while you yourselves sit here? Now why do you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from passing over into the land which Yahuwah has given them? Thus your fathers did when I sent them away from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up to the Wadi Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, so that they did not go into the land which Yahuwah had given them. Then the displeasure of Yahuwah burned on that day, and he swore an oath, saying, Not one of the men who came up from Mizraim, from 20 years old and above, is to see the land of which I swore to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, because they did not follow me completely. Except Caleb, son of Yefuneh, the Kenizzite, and Yehoshua, son of Nun, for they have followed Yahuwah completely. So the displeasure of Yahuwah burned against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the congregation that had done evil in the eyes of Yahuwah was destroyed. And see, you have risen in your father's place, an increase of men, sinners, to add still more the burning displeasure of Yahuwah against Israel. For if you turn away from the following him, he shall once again leave them in the wilderness, and you shall destroy all these people. Then they came near to him and said, Let us build sheep enclosures here for our livestock, and cities for our little ones. But let us ourselves be armed, hastening before the children of Israel, until we have brought them to their place. And our little ones shall dwell in the walled cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We shall not return to our homes until every one of the children of Israel has received his inheritance. For we shall not inherit with them on the other side of the Jordan and beyond, because our inheritance has fallen to us on this eastern side of the Jordan. And Moshe said to them, If you make this promise, if you arm yourselves before Yahuwah for battle, and all your armed ones pass over the Jordan before Yahuwah until he has driven out his enemies from before him, and the land has been subdued before Yahuwah, then afterward you shall return, and be guiltless before Yahuwah and before Israel. And this land should be your possession before Yahuwah. But if you do not do so, then see, you shall sin against Yahuwah, and know, your sin is going to find you out. Build cities for your little ones, and enclosures for your sheep, and do what you have promised. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spoke to Moshe, saying, Your servants are going to do as my master commands. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all of our livestock are going to be there in the cities of Gilead. But your servants are passing over, every armed one of the army, before Yahuwah, to battle as my master says. And Moshe gave command concerning them to Eleazar the priest, to Yehoshua son of Nun, and to the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moshe said to them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben pass over the Jordan with you, every man armed for battle before Yahuwah, and the land has been subdued before you, then you shall give them the land of Gilead as a possession. But if they do not pass over armed with you, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. Then the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, As Yahuwah has said to your servants, so we do. We ourselves are passing over, armed before Yahuwah, into the land of Canaan, but the possession of our inheritance remains with us beyond the Jordan. So Moshe gave to the children of Gad, to the children of Reuben, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, son of Joseph, the reign of Sichon, sovereign of the Amorites, and the reign of Og, sovereign of Bashan, the land with its cities within the borders, the cities of the land round about. And the children of Gad built Dibon, and Ataroth, and Aroer, and Atroth, Sophon, and Yazer, and Yogbaha, and Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, walled cities, and enclosures for sheep. And the children of Reuben built Keshbon, and Ela Ale, and Kiriathim, Nebo, and Baal Maon, the names being changed, and Shibma, and they gave other names to the cities which they built. And the sons of Machir, son of Manasseh, went to Gilead and took it, and dispossessed the Amorites who were in it. So Moshe gave Gilead to Machir, son of Manasseh, and he dwelt in it. And Yair, son of Manasseh, went and took its small towns, and called them Kavoth Yair. And Nobah went and took Kenath and its villages, and he called it Nobah, after his own name. Chapter 33. These are the departures of the children of Israel, who went out to the land of Mitzrayim by their divisions under the hand of Moshe and Aharon. And Moshe wrote down the starting points of their departures at the mouth of Yahuwah, and these are their departures according to their starting points. So they departed from Ramses in the first new moon, on the 15th day of the first new moon, on the morrow of the Pesach. The children of Israel went out with boldness before the eyes of all the Mitzrites. And the Mitzrites were burying all their firstborn whom Yahuwah had stricken among them. Also on their mighty ones Yahuwah had executed judgments. Then the children of Israel departed from Ramses and camped at Succoth. And they departed from Succoth and camped at Atham, which is on the edge of the wilderness. And they departed from Atham and turned back to Pi-Hahiroth, which is east of Baal Zephon. And they camped near Migdal. And they departed from before Hakiroth and passed over through the midst of the sea into the wilderness, went 3 days' journey in the wilderness of Atham, and camped at Marah. And they departed from Marah and came to Elim, and at Elim were 12 springs of water and 70 palm trees, so they camped there. And they departed from Elim and camped by the Sea of Reeds. And they departed from the Sea of Reeds and camped in the wilderness of Sin. And they departed from the wilderness of Sin and camped at Dophkah. And they departed from Dophkah and camped at Alush. And they departed from Alush and camped at Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. And they departed from Rephidim and camped in the wilderness of Sinai. And they departed from the wilderness of Sinai and camped at Kiroth Hata'awa. And they departed from Kiroth Hata'awa and camped at Katzeroth. And they departed from Katzeroth and camped at Rithmah. And they departed from Rithmah and camped at Ramon Peretz. And they departed from Ramon Peretz and camped at Libnah. And they departed from Libnah and camped at Rissa. And they departed from Rissa and camped at Kehelatha. And they departed from Kehelatha and camped at Mount Shapher. And they departed from Mount Shapher and camped at Harada. And they departed from Harada and camped at Machaloth. And they departed from Machaloth and camped at Tahath. And they departed from Tahath and camped at Terach. And they departed from Terach and camped at Mithkah. And they departed from Mithkah and camped at Kashmona. And they departed from Kashmona and camped at Moseroth. And they departed from Moseroth and camped at Beni Yaakan. And they departed from Beni Yaakan and camped at Kor Hagidgad. And they departed from Kor Hagidgad and camped at Yotbatha. And they departed from Yotbatha and camped at Abrona. And they departed from Abrona and encamped at Etzer Gebir. And they departed from Etzion Gebir and camped in the wilderness of Sin, which is Kadesh. And they departed from Kadesh and encamped at Mount Hor, on the boundary of the land of Edom. Then Aharon the priest went up to Mount Hor at the mouth of Yahuwah and died there on the 40th year after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim on the first day of the 5th new moon. Now Aharon was 123 years old when he died at Mount Hor. And the sovereign of Arad, the Canaanite, who dwelt in the south on the land of Canaan, heard of the coming of the children of Israel. So they departed from Mount Hor and camped at Salmona. And they departed from Salmona and camped at Punan. And they departed from Punan and camped at Oboth. And they departed from Oboth and camped at Iye-ha-abiram, at the border of Moab. And they departed from Iyam and camped at Dibon Gad. And they departed from Dibon Gad and camped at Almon Diblathayimah. And they departed from Almon Diblathayimah and camped in the mountains of Abiram before Nebo. And they departed from the mountains of Abiram and camped in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Jericho. And they camped by the Yarden from Beth Yeshimoth as far as Abel Shittim in the desert plains of Moab. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Yarden of Jericho, saying, Speak to the children of Israel and say to them, When you have passed over the Yarden into the land of Canaan, then you shall drive out all the inhabitants of the land before you, and shall destroy all their engraved stones, and shall destroy all their molded images, and lay waste all their high places. And you shall possess the land and dwell in it, for I have given you the land to possess. You shall divide the land by lot as an inheritance among your clans. To the larger you give a larger inheritance, and to the smaller you give a smaller inheritance. Wherever the lot falls to anyone, that is his. You inherit according to the tribes of your fathers. And if you do not drive out the inhabitants of the land from before you, then it shall be that those whom you let remain shall be pricks in your eyes and thorns in your sides. And they shall trouble you in the land where you dwell. And it shall be that I do to you as I thought to do to them. Chapter 34. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Command the children of Israel, and say to them, When you come into the land of Canaan, this is the land which falls to you as an inheritance, the land of Canaan to its boundaries. Then your southern border shall be from the wilderness of Sin along the border of Edom, and your southern border shall be eastward from the end of the Salt Sea. Then your border shall turn from the southern side of the ascent of Akrabim, continue to Sin, and be on the south of Kadesh Barnea. And it shall go on to Katser Adar, and continue to Atzmon. And the border shall turn from Atzmon to the Wadi Mitzrayim, and it shall end at the sea. As for the western border, you shall have the great sea for a border. This is your western border. And this is your northern border. From the great sea you mark out your border line to Mount Hor. From Mount Hor you mark out your border to the entrance of Kamath, and from the edge of the border shall be towards Sadad. And the border shall proceed to Ziphron, and it shall end at Ketzer Anan. This is your northern border. And you shall mark out your eastern border from Ketzer Anan to Shepham. And the border shall go down from Shepham to Riblah on the east side of Ayin. And the border shall go down and reach to the eastern side of the Sea of Kinnereth. And the border shall go down along the Yarden, and it shall end at the Salt Sea. This is your land with its surrounding boundaries. And Moshe commanded the children of Israel, saying, This is the land which you inherit by lot, which Yahuwah has commanded to give to the 9 tribes and to the half-tribe. For the tribe of the children of Reuben, according to the house of their fathers, and the tribe of the children of Gad, according to the house of their fathers, have received their inheritance, and the half-tribe of Manasseh has received his inheritance. The 2 tribes and the half-tribe have received their inheritance beyond the Yarden of Jericho eastward, toward the sunrise. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, These are the names of the men who divide the land among you as an inheritance: Eleazar the priest, and Yehoshua son of Nun. And take 1 leader of every tribe to divide the land for the inheritance. And these are the names of the men: from the tribe of Yehudah, Caleb son of Yefuneh; and from the tribe of the children of Shimon, Shemuel son of Ammihud; from the tribe of Benjamin, Eladad son of Kislon; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Gad, Buki son of Yogli; and from the sons of Joseph, a leader from the tribe of the children of Manasseh, Keniel son of Ephod; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Ephraim, Kemuel son of Shiftan; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Zebulun, Elitzaphan son of Parnak; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Issachar, Paltiel son of Azan; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Asher, Achihud son of Shalomi; and a leader from the tribe of the children of Naphtali, Pedahel son of Ammihud. These are the ones Yahuwah commanded to divide the inheritance among the children of Israel in the land of Canaan. Chapter 35. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho, saying, Command the children of Israel that they shall give the Levites cities to dwell in from the inheritance of their possession. Also give the Levites open land around the cities. They shall have the cities to dwell in their open land for their cattle and for their herds and for all their livestock. And the open land of the cities which you give the Levites are from the wall of the city outward 1,000 cubits all around. And you shall measure outside the city, on the east side 2,000 cubits, and on the south side 2,000 cubits, and on the west side 2,000 cubits, and on the north side 2,000 cubits. And the city is in the middle. This is to them the open land for the cities. And the cities which you give to the Levites are 6 cities of refuge, which you give to the manslayer to flee to, and to these you add 42 cities. All the cities which you give to the Levites are 48. These with their open land. And the cities which you give are from the possession of the children of Israel. From the larger tribe you give many, from the smaller you give few. Each one gives some of its cities to the Levites, in proportion to the inheritance that each inherits. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, and say to them, When you pass over the Jordan into the land of Canaan, then you shall choose cities to be cities of refuge for you, that the manslayer who struck someone mistakenly shall flee there. And they shall be cities for refuge for you from the revenger, and the manslayer is not to die until he stands before the congregation for right ruling. And of the cities which you give, 6 are to be cities of refuge. Give 3 cities beyond the Jordan, and give 3 cities in the land of Canaan, as cities of refuge. These 6 cities are for refuge for the children of Israel, and for the sojourner, and for the settler in their midst, for anyone who mistakenly strikes someone to flee there. But if he has stricken him with an instrument of iron, so that he dies, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. And if he has stricken him with a stone in the hand, by which one could die, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. Or if he has stricken him with a wooden instrument that could kill, and he does die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall certainly be put to death. The revenger of blood himself puts the murderer to death. When he meets him, he puts him to death. And if he thrusts him through in hatred, or throws an object at him while lying in wait so that he dies, or in enmity he strikes him with his hand so that he dies, the one who struck him shall certainly be put to death, for he is a murderer. The revenger of blood puts the murderer to death when he meets him. But if he pushes him suddenly without enmity, or throws an object at him without lying in wait, or uses a stone by which a man could die, throwing it at him without seeing him, so that he dies, while he was not his enemy, or seeking his harm, then the congregation shall judge between him who struck someone and the revenger of blood according to these right rulings. And the congregation shall rescue the manslayer from the hand of the revenger of blood, and the congregation shall return him to the city of refuge, where he had fled, and he shall remain there until the death of the high priest who is anointed with the set-apart oil. But if the manslayer at any time goes outside the limits of the city of refuge where he fled, and the revenger of blood finds him outside the limits of his city of refuge, and the revenger of blood executes the manslayer, he is now guilty of blood, because he should have remained in his city of refuge until the death of the high priest. But after the death of the high priest, the manslayer is to return to the land of his possession. And these shall be for a law of right ruling to you throughout your generations in all your dwellings. Whoever strikes a being, the murderer shall be executed by the mouth of the witness. The one witness does not bear witness against someone to die. And take no ransom for the life of a murderer who is guilty of death, but he shall certainly be put to death. And take no ransom for him who has fled to his city of refuge to return to dwell in the land before the death of the priest. And do not profane the land where you are, for blood profanes the land, and the land is not pardoned for the blood that is shed on it, except by the blood of him who shed it. And do not defile the land which you inhabit, in the midst of which I dwell, for I, Yahuwah, am dwelling in the midst of the children of Israel. Chapter 36. And the heads of the fathers of the clans of the children of Gilad, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, of the clans of the sons of Yosef, came near and spoke before Moshe, before the leaders, the heads of the fathers of the children of Israel, and said, Yahuwah commanded my master to give the land as an inheritance by lot to the children of Israel, And my master was commanded by Yahuwah to give the inheritance of our brother Zelophehad to his daughters. Now if they are married to any of the sons of the other tribes of the children of Israel, then their inheritance should be taken from the inheritance of our fathers, and should be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and taken from the lot of our inheritance. And if the Yobel of the children of Israel takes place, then their inheritance should be added to the inheritance of the tribe into which they marry, and their inheritance taken away from the inheritance of the tribe of our fathers. Moshe commanded the children of Israel according to the word of Yahuwah, saying, What tribe of the sons of Yosef speaks is right? This is the word which Yahuwah has commanded for the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, Let them marry who is good in their eyes, but let them marry only within the clan of their father's tribe. And the inheritance of the children of Israel is not to change hands from tribe to tribe, for every one of the children of Israel is to cling to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And every daughter possessing an inheritance in any tribe of the children of Israel is to be the wife of one of the clan of her father's tribe, so that the children of Israel possess each the inheritance of his fathers. Thus the inheritance is not to change hands from one tribe to another, but every tribe of the children of Israel is to cling to its own inheritance. As Yahuwah commanded Moshe, so did the daughters of Zelophehad. For Machlah, Tirzah, and Hoglah, and Milcah and Noah, the daughters of Zelophehad, were married to the sons of their father's brothers. And they were married into the clans of the children of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, and their inheritance remained in the tribe of their father's clan. These are the commands and the right rulings which Yahuwah commanded the children of Israel by the hand of Moshe in the desert plains of Moab by the Jordan of Jericho.